Hey everybody, Gourley, and I'm back on the RAC. A lot has changed in the last week or so. I went to visit my in-laws, so I had a lot of free time, but I brought my laptop and not my desktop, so I had no way to record. So there's a lot of catching up to do. I still have my base on top of the mountain, but I've added a few things in here. And I've added a roof on, and this was just to try and conceal everything while I was in here. And I grew a large jungle tree to base my larger tree on for my build. And I'll show you guys what's going on. One of the guys on the server, Risen, he plans on building in a jungle, and he offered the jungle to be cut down if anybody needed some of the wood. I was planning on needing a lot of wood, so I jumped at the opportunity. So far I have a nice trunk going on and a good branch. So I feel like I'm making some progress. I haven't added any of the detail. This ugly part with the dirt is just my scaffolding. The plan is to cover up my little farm here that I have started with my cow farm, and to create a route that goes down this way, and also another one that goes down this way and connects up to the road. I'll have to extend the road out a little bit more, but that'll be fine. I'd also like to add another branch on the back side, and then doing the top will also be very difficult, trying to make it look like a tree. Because right now I'm not messing with it in creative, I'm just trying to get my creative mind's eye onto the game. As you can tell, I'm using the same leaves, but it crosses a biome, so the colors of the leaves change without even having to change the leaves that I'm using. I'm using all jungle wood and all jungle leaves so far. And I'll show you guys what else is going on around here. Benchy made a chicken, and then there was a top hat and a monocle added, which was pretty humorous. And we've cleared out a lot of the chickens at spawn that Benchy had been throwing around. Kage was able to finish his lighthouse. He turned it on at one point when I was playing, and I thought my game was crashing or my Java was messed up, so I quit both times, and I had to ask him what was going on. And he said he'd shut off the lighthouse, and sure enough, the server went back to normal. All the light updates that was messing with it. Eternal Beta's been messing with this house and making it look beautiful. I think it looks pretty sweet. And City Hall's been, well, a lot of work's been being done to it, and it looks amazing. And then Eternal Beta's also been busy on the other side of City Hall. He's pretty much taken charge of the Nether Hub, almost. He's doing a lot of the beautification of it. So he took the floor plans and also went with a color-coded idea for the Nether Hub, that each color will be a different direction, and then we'll hook up from there. I'll show you one of the other big projects that I've been working on with Benchy, and I'll go there now. It is the Witch Hut. If you watch Benchy, you'll see that he's set it up and prepared it all and did a lot of caving. I volunteered to do a little more caving to help clear up some of the unlit areas, light them up, and hopefully increase the spawn rate of the Witch Hut. So that took a couple days to do. I got some good supplies, but more importantly, I was able to speed up the process of this Witch Hut. Right now, with spawning the way it works, if there's only one person on, the Witch Hut works amazing. But any more than that, and it just kind of kills it, because the number of mobs that spawn in multiplayer is determined by the number of people on and the chunks loaded. Well, just the chunks loaded. And the more people on, hypothetically, the more chunks that could be loaded, unless they're working together. So the way that works on single player is 79 mobs end up being able to spawn. And in multiplayer, that can double every time somebody logs in, as long as they're not in the same loaded chunks, because each person gets 17 chunks, and there's some fancy math with that, which is I believe it's the number of chunks that are loaded, so you would get, what is it, 17 times 17, and then the base number is 70, and then divide all that by 256, and that will give the number of mobs that are supposed to spawn. So at the witch farm, that kind of kills it because there's not as much area for the mobs to spawn, so they all end up getting pushed off on the other player. Because any witches that spawn seem to almost immediately be killed. The game does work it out to where it will spawn every tick, which is 1/20th of a second. So if you're the only one here, you see a lot of witches going through. But right now we have Lumion also, so we won't see too many witches that's going on here. There's one right away. Oh no, that was just part of the piston. There's two. What Benchy was able to do is he set up the shifting floor. Originally we just had the waterways, and it seemed to be doing fine, but it also seemed to clog up the system. There were a lot just standing on the top, and it took a while for them to die. So he was able to set this up. I came and helped him out on that. I don't know a lot about redstone, so if he does make that video, you'll see me kind of just standing in the corner trying to mimic what he already had over in the corners. I gotta stand a little bit further away for any to spawn if they will. Poor Lumi if he's caving right now. He's just getting attacked by mobs. But the basis is the floor will shift back and forth, and as they spawn, when the floor shifts, they just drop through the floor. And then they get to the next one, they drop again. And the glass is to block them from walking out. Oh, there goes one. And then we have this walkway down here to collect the items. Right now it's really basic on what we have set up. We just have 4 hoppers on half slabs to pick up the items. This was the original setup, and one day Benchy had gone AFK overnight, so I left him a little note because this was completely full because he was the only one on, so they were just spawning like crazy. If Lumi does log off, I'll come back here and show you guys the rates. But as you can hear, that just hitting noise you hear constantly when you're the only person on. So this thing just fills up. It looks like someone has come by recently and taken a lot of the redstone, gunpowder, and probably all... Oh, no, there's a little glowstone. I know that's what I come here for, because I need to be lighting up that tree. If we stand right here, it doesn't seem to spawn any. You have to go a little bit further away, like about here or so. Or maybe it still spawns some, but just not as many, because you might be too close. So that's what we got going on here. I'll show you guys Risen's jungle, which we've been clearing out. I ran out of iron, so I needed to go get iron, and I got plenty of iron now, so I can go back. This witch farm was the break in between for me for the for what I was working on, because I needed iron, so I came to cave. I got iron, and now I'm able to go back. Hey, look, there's a zombie that was able to escape. He'll probably live for quite a while, or I'll just shoot him now. So let's go to Risen's jungle, see what's going on over there. I know he's been doing a lot of craziness over there last time I visited. And I have a small hut there, a small ugly hut, but it did its job and what it needed it to do, and that was just to hold the supplies so I didn't have to make the long run every time I loaded up, because I would load up very often since I'm collecting leaves. And that's how I was going through iron so fast, as I was making shears and just shearing down all the leaves. It would help on not having to wait for any of the leaves to break down. I do need saplings, but I didn't want to sit around and wait for them. I can get them at a different point. So that's my plan. And Risen's, there's a small cross, and there was fire down here, which helped me find it, but apparently someone put it out. This is Risen's area, right down here, so close to that witch farm, which will be nice in the future, especially when he's the only one on. My guess is if you need any type of supplies, you can just AFK there for one night, and you'll probably get what you need. He always has mobs here, like that. So, I should probably go pick up the contents of the chest. I just remember that there was a chest over here. And replant these for... Oops, wrong one. Oh, I can't plant there. Seems like every time I come here, there's some mob waiting there. That's the first time it was a creeper. Most of the time it seems to be a skeleton. So, where is this chest? Hopefully he won't mind that I moved it. I think I had one dirt. That's fine. I don't need it. Originally, this whole jungle was grown in, and a few of us got on and we just went at it and cut down. This was the hut that I started to build, and Benchy went to help me and added a bunch of leaves to it since I was the one picking up leaves. Such a great guy he is, and such a great guy Israel was to invite us over to cut. I believe Kage was there also. Someone else may have been. And I started to collect sheep, because originally at my farm there were all sheep. I had about 100 sheep, and then I just had to kill them because I wanted some beef. Risen made a zombie, or not a zombie, a villager breeder, and I covered up the top just so it would stop. And he's been doing a few trades with these guys. Some of them will trade stuff that you want, and some of them won't. So I've come and traded a few people the books, which may be why they have the books blocked off. Oh, these cows are probably ready to be bred. They're not fully grown, but that's okay. So all this was jungle right here, and we just went to town, and we started to cut and cut and cut, and I was able to get one full double chest of jungle wood, and more than a double chest of leaves before the night was done. And I hope to come back tomorrow and clear the rest of this out, and get even more. This needs to be lit up. Get even more wood, because I'm going to be needing that for the tree, because it needs to get larger. I've been told that it's huge. Before I built, and towards the beginning of the build, I did ask a couple times if there was a height limit on the build, and no one seemed to say anything, so I thought it'd be fine to build a huge tree. Which so far it's working out pretty good, I think. So he had a huge jungle here, and now he's got very little left. So the cleanup of the rest of this is going to take some time. Hopefully it doesn't take more than a day or two. And he has a lot of crazy caves here. I only fell down like 2 or 3 while I was cutting, which I think is pretty good. But nothing where I really took any real amount of damage. One of these areas there's lava nearby the top, and I didn't quite dig down to find where it was, but I know that there is. Let's scan for creepers again. Okay, good. I'm using this diamond sword primarily because it's no good. Hey, there's my one dirt back. That's fair and even. I gathered up 30 levels, made my first diamond sword, and I spent 30 levels, and I got Bane of Arthropods 5. So I use it for pretty much everything now until it's going to get worn out. I also made another enchantment, and I got super lucky. It's like Sharpness, Knockback, and Looting 3. I really wanted that Looting 3. I think it's like Sharpness 4, Knockback 2. But I really wanted the Looting 3 for the cows, so I'm using that, and hopefully I can still repair it in the future, because that's something that I'd like to do. I'd like to keep that Looting 3 for when I try and hunt some Endermen, which need to be done soon. Building that tree without any Ender Pearls is difficult, because I just have to build that scaffolding and climb up, and hope that no skeletons are up there to try and shoot me down. So far, I've almost been shut down once. And that was when Eternal Banda was on. He came to look at the tree, and he shot a random shot up there. I don't know if he was aiming at me or not. He said he was pretty surprised that he did hit me. And if it wasn't for my scaffolding, I would have been knocked off and fallen to my death. But I saved that for a little bit later. I was making a lookout point, and I towered up, and I was throwing down ladders going down. And I was holding shift as I went down, and someone went through the nether and the laptop that I have can't really handle much of anything that well. So I lagged for a second, and that second was enough to let go of the ladder, so I fell to my death. Another time I went to try and jump onto the tree in the center and get the vines, which I thought I could get, and I was pretty close on my thought. I almost did get it, but I fell to my death. And then another time, I forget what happened. I think I just flat out fell off because I wasn't holding shift, or I wasn't paying attention, which is fine. That type of stuff happens. I always get a little bit of lag when I go between. So let's just go this way. Oh, there's the door finally opening. So Benchy's chicken looks great. The lighthouse looks pretty amazing. It's a bummer that it kind of kicks me out pretty much when it gets turned on. Eternal Beta's been doing some great work. Chill and Alchemy have been building this, which looks amazing. I hope they like my tree and it's not too obtrusive. I think it's coming out very well. And I'm looking forward to going back to Risens and collecting some wood. And one of the reasons that I have the cow farm is for books and food. I've been collecting a lot of food down here. I plan to be able to eat steak for nearly ever almost. And then I have some raw beef for backup if I need any to trade any villagers. But slowly, as I breed them and I kill them, I've been collecting books. I've been making some books, and I've been enchanting them. I gave away an Efficiency 4 book, I think, recently. I think that's what it was. But I've just been combining them. So I have Sharpness 4, Protection 4, 2 Breaking 3s, Efficiency 3, Smite 3. And then these are my not as well books. I got Protection 3, and Feather Falling 3, which are good. So I'm just slowly building a library of books that are useful. This was the Junglewood double chest that was full. And then I think, yeah, here are my oak leaves still. I think I have some jungle leaves somewhere. Not very many. But I was able to bring back more jungle leaves. I said that I had a sheep farm, and here's all the wool that I collected before I had to murder them. Because sheep just give wool, and their noise is a lot more annoying than the cows. I traded away a lot of white wool. And then I have all this color coordinating. I got some lime green together, some dark green, light blue, dark blue, light gray, yellow, dark gray, or just gray, black, yeah, brown, I think this is orange, yeah, red, and pink. So I tried to somewhat color coordinate stuff, put stuff together that would logically be together. I should probably switch the black and the yellow to be together, just so the grays can, but that's okay for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with the wool. I had originally thought that I'll make carpet for the first place that I make, and then I decided to go with the tree idea, just because I grew a jungle tree just to kind of always be able to see where I was at. And I thought it looked kind of neat on top of the hill, just because there's not really a jungle biome right here. There's one way off in the distance, so the jungle tree really didn't fit. And being on top of the hill, it looked really neat. So I just like the idea of the large tree. And it's something that looks kind of natural. Not natural as all the other terrain, but a tree is something that would be natural. And I hope to be able to implement it pretty good. So there's the tree that I had originally. And I had to cut down one of the branches. Just as the outer tree grew, the inner tree could also grow. Has a radius of 12 one way and 12.5 another way. So I think it's north-south it's 25 all the way across, and east-west it's 24. I went completely off I, so I hadn't planned on it being like a perfect circle like that. There were sections that I did 2 or 3 straight, and then there are sections that I just kind of did diagonal to try and give it a roundish look. And I feel that it really came out well like that. So I'm pretty happy with that so far, and we'll see if I can take to light. I've been doing a lot of caving also. Well, not really a lot, but I did 1 or 2 nights pretty intensively, it felt like for me. And I got really lucky on one of the times. I was like 30 minutes out there and I'd found like 4 or 5 spawners. I've gotten a lot of diamond horse armor, some iron horse armor, but I haven't found any gold. So I was able to take some mossy cobble, a lot of music discs, and a lot of saddles. And I was also able to get a bunch of other supplies that I haven't quite used yet. One of the supplies that I needed that I kind of traded for was dirt for all this pillaring. I had like 2 stacks of dirt and I went through it super fast. So when Benchy cleared out the witch farm, he had just chests and chests full of dirt. So I gave him a diamond pickaxe for double chest full of dirt. He said I could just take it, but I didn't want to just take it. I threw a lot of torches down there because I've been having creeper problems. They cleared one creeper, clear out most of my cows earlier. So my very near future, I want to kind of make this go down to cover all this to help protect from creepers, which I may just do right now. And if the cows are too loud, I'll just cut it out. Wrong chest. So let's see, what do I have? I'm looking for a trapdoor. I don't want to use any of my jungle wood because it's what I'm using for everything. Trapdoor, which is a door just sideways. Haha. Nice way to remember the crafting recipe. Anyways, I'm going to need this for a door. And when I finish this base, it'll help me to determine if the creepers are spawning in there or out. I'm also going to need dirt. So if I go in there in the future and there's a creeper, a zombie, or a skeleton, I'll know for sure that it's spawning in there and it's not just sneaking its way in. Because I jump in there all the time, not really checking stuff out. And then lo and behold, there's a skeleton that shoots a few cows, or there's a creeper. If there's a zombie, it's really easy to deal with because they don't really kill all that many. Well, they don't kill any. I've had skeletons kill like 2 or 3 at most, and then the creeper who took out like half my guys. It's kind of sad and devastating, but that's alright. You live, you learn. The cows don't live, but that's fine. I was able to still collect all their goodness that they had for me. Let's see. Oops. I don't have my axe on me right now. I'll just punch it. I need to push these guys back a little bit. Let's see. This trapdoor, if you jump on it, you can walk up on the fence and then walk up on the dirt. It's the way everything's programmed and made. Let's push this. This is just going to go straight down, that's fine. So let's just want to try and work this around what I already have, so I don't need to redo everything. That's right, I can't jump on that fence. Dang it. I'm going to have to move this walkway a little bit. That's fine. Also, when the creeper blew up, the floor is very shallow here. So a bunch of cows just fell in, and I was holding wheat. So then a bunch more came in, so I just had to murder a ton of cows. All because of a creeper. So, let's... That's fine. Just want to push this root out so I don't need to rebuild everything. And I was kind of hoping that it would go out. Let's A couple down, so it actually looks like it's going down. A couple over. Light up down there just in case. Always gotta watch your back. So let's put the trapdoor here. Oh, there's nothing right here, so we'll have to put a little wood. That way I can just go straight down in, and we'll work another way around. Goes into it also. So I would rather not have cows try and chase me all the time. Let's see. Trying to not make it too uniform at places, because a tree is not really uniform. Something needs to be done with this. I know that right off the bat. It's fine. So we'll step back once I get part of this, well, a good portion of this built. I was kind of wanting it to, oh, it almost goes back to where I wanted it to. So, clear a few more of these, torch it up here so nothing spawns, because if you give something a chance, it will, especially if one person's over at that witch hut. I'm telling you, man, they'll spawn like crazy wherever you don't want them to. Hey, look at this opening. That's great. Better cover this up. The good thing about placing wood here is there is no real way that I want a lot of wood. I don't want, well, some knots are up, so that's fine. There's no like horrible way to place it when you're building a tree, which is nice. It's not the way I wanted this one though. There we go. I wish I could have that one diagonal, but I can't. Alright, let's take a look and see what this looks like. Oh yeah, I just got to build it out a little bit more. Maybe throw half slabs or steps in there. That will be good. I need a way. Can I just jump up here? Yeah. So let's figure this out. Well, I'll figure this part out off camera on how else I'd like to get in there. So let's climb on top of this hill. Sorry if I just blew in the camera, or blew in the microphone. A fly just landed on my nose. I hope it was a fly. Some flying insect landed on my nose. I may need to take this root up a little bit more and build it out, but that's kind of the basic idea of what I wanted for it. I wanted something to cover up the cow farm so anybody running by wouldn't immediately see it, and then I just need to work away in there also. I think the road over here I'll be able to start higher and go down a little bit more. This one I just kind of wanted to do it right now just to cover stuff up. I'm sure I'm going to be doing a little bit more in the future. Hopefully in the next week or so I'll have more progress to show, more of the tree that's done. I'm sure you guys probably don't want to watch me do the tree because I'm pretty much just staring straight down and doing this most of the time, and so that's not very interesting. The parts that are interesting are just when I die or when I stand back and look at it, and I don't stand back and look at it all too often, but this is one of the times that I do. So that's what I got going on, trying to mimic one of those bad boys over there. I don't think I'm going to do vines because vines may just take over. I'm thinking about doing some type of, maybe a few ladders with mossy cobblestone behind or something. I'm not really sure right now at this point, but trying to think that I may lean away from vines unless I do like the hanging tripwire so they don't grow straight down, so they just stop where they're at. I don't know. We'll see. So thanks for watching, and thanks for seeing all the updates that we have. I hope you guys go and not only watch me, but maybe someone else on the server, see what else they're doing, because they all have interesting videos and they have a lot to show and tell. Thanks for watching. Gourley on the RAC. Have a good night or day. Goodbye.